Have you ever wondered what comes at the end of a legacy? When the heroes hang up their capes for the last time and move on to greener pastures? What does their final few steps entail? And what drove them to give it one last try? Okay, no. Hold up. Just 1 second. Pixelstorm. Buddy, you spent $100 for this? I mean, it was for charity, so fair. But really? Season 5. You know what? No, it's fine. It's okay. We'll get through this. Just, give me a moment. What happens when you take some of the most talented players you could possibly imagine, remove any and all motivation to actually try, and split half of their friend group with another team? Well, you get your own SiR apparently. This is the story of the biggest clown fiesta to ever grace League Zero, bears on unicycles and all. Always entertaining, always bringing us to new levels of scuff previously thought impossible. Trailblazers in their own right, truly. For better or worse, this is Season 5, Easy Clap. Returning from a long ban due to some, shall we say, draft shenanigans back in Season 2, Pixelstorm was left with a bit of a chip on his shoulder. He was made eligible to apply for team management due to good behavior in Season 4, and he knew this was his chance to bring back the team he's always called home. Immediately, he knew he wanted to bring on one of the only remaining OGs from the original Easy Clap. With Flipside as the assistant manager, they had a clear goal in their mind: win.
Oh, just win. That was the only thing that was on my mind. Just win. It's the final season. It's the last OW one that we'll play. Get the win. No matter whatever has to happen. As long as I don't, rig the draft this time, get the win. That was all that was on my mind. I just wanted to get the Branded's title.
Fairly soon after management was settled in, they reached out to someone a bit less traditional for their captain spot. They were confident in his ability as a player, as well as his knowledge of who was actually good enough to win the league. Given that neither Pixelstorm nor Flipside had been active in the community for at least one whole season, they'd be relying a lot on their captain for scouting.
I think it mostly came from Flipside, actually, because Flipside and I have always been friends. So he was like, "Hey, putting together Easy Clap, come be our captain." I was like, "Sure." I hate that team, but why the fuck not? I was playing tank because I'd been queuing tank a lot in ranked and just kind of trolling and having fun with it. And I kind of just wanted to have fun and play the season. And I wasn't planning on taking things too seriously. It was kind of just, I'm friends with a lot of people that are here. It'd be a good time. I'm allowed to play again finally. And yeah, that was about all it was. I also wanted to be a captain because I would have some sort of agency over who I ended up on the team with. As you guys know, the circus did in fact rig the draft.
Moving away from the old school mantra of picking up coachable diamonds in the rough, Easy Clap instead opted to pick up a core of players they knew, or rather players Baz knew, for the most part at least. They had a few picks towards the end of their draft for their friends, but they were mostly intended as benchwarmers.
Because this was season 5 now, and I hadn't really paid attention in season 4 even really. Season 3 I think I was gone entirely, so like I've missed so much. I don't know who any of like the new good players are. I'm like an old dog who doesn't know any new tricks. So what's the first thing I do? Me and Pixelstorm agreed to get Baz as our captain because he's stayed within the scene. He's kept it all very competitive, and he was a really good main support who suddenly became a main tank, which we knew there was a shortage of in the league. So we based it around him basically, and then said, you get the players that you think will help us win. And from that, we don't really care if you scrim, we don't care if you never really show up on time, but we just want you guys to have like the same amount of fun we had on Easy Clap. We got Emran, who I didn't know, and then I met all these guys later and I talked to them. They're really chill dudes. There was the whole joke about rigging the draft to get the circus in. Didn't know what the circus was. Thought it was kind of unfunny that there was something called the circus that people were this like enveloped into. A little bit cringe, but whatever.
In the days leading up to the draft, there were actually quite a few concerns floating around within the staff team that Baz's friend group, known as the Circus, was going to attempt to rig the draft and create what would essentially be a pre-made team in a draft league. Of course, this was very similar to what got Pixelstorm banned back in Season 2, so alarm bells were ringing quite a lot behind the scenes.
The only original members of Easy Clap that were still left and willing to do it was me and Flipside, and neither of us could properly play the game. Like both dealing with whatever life stuff, and also we just weren't good anymore. So knowing that, we knew that Baz and that whole group of guys still generally played the game. We knew that they were actually good at the game, and so we thought, well, if we can ask Baz if he wants to be team captain, and then he can coordinate with all his friends and get them all signed up and whatever, then we can have a pretty decent roster. Yeah, they haven't really been scrimming with each other, but they know each other. They've played the game with each other enough that they're going to be able to play fine and good enough that they'll be able to win. So, like, we kind of just wanted to... This is so, like, weird to say because, especially at the beginning, since I said we wanted to win, but we wanted to take it easy. Like, we didn't want to impose it so much and be like, you know, you guys have to show up to scrims, you guys have to whatever, do this, work hard, all this stuff. No, just come and chill, have fun, and like we'll just believe in your skill is kind of the philosophy that we wanted to do. Just as long as you guys are having fun, and if you can win the title, great. If not, like, that sucks, but like, have fun was kind of the thing that we wanted mostly for the players.
Ironically, and thankfully, the fear of the circus rigging the draft turned out to be a bunch of hot air. The friend group mostly split amongst Easy Clap and Trolley Gang, with their firepower being split enough that staff got off their case after the draft.
Yeah, there was a lot of debate over who would get what players on each team. You know, like they were like, you guys better not pick up this player. We're like, oh, we're gonna pick up that player. In hindsight, I think there were a couple of massive draft mistakes we made that kind of cost our team a lot of games in the early season. I won't get into those, but long story short, we definitely did not draft a team to win. We drafted like a team of friends that just happened to be pretty good, and that's about all that happened.
The atmosphere was relatively laid back once players found their way into Easy Clap. Scrimming happened very little, if at all, with the intention being just to relax for the regular season and flip the switch once playoffs rolled around, because that plan has never backfired.
Well, me and Baz already discussed this before into the draft. I was supposed to be at the end as like, you know, the very end as like a joke along with Creed. So that was the main plan. Then I'm trying to think, at the beginning, it was just chill. We were just like hanging out. I think we like played one scrim against like some random team, and like it was whatever. And we were like, we can just go into this next game. We're chilling. We'd be chilling. And I mean, that was there's not a lot was going on. The vibes were good, but like we just kind of existed. I think it's like it was existence for sure. But like Baz, he didn't. I don't remember if it was. Because, like, if I remember correctly, if we drafted M, or did we get him off another team? It's, like, so lost in my head. Yeah, so M definitely had his collegiate scrims, like, at the same time that we'd always want to scrim, so we just didn't want to scrim because M wouldn't be there, and that's who we wanted to play anyway. We got Tectonic. We did not. We were not playing Tectonic. Respectfully, we were not. But yeah, we just kind of, I don't want to say AFK'd, but we just kind of chilled for a little bit. That's about it.
The first match of the regular season was against Trolley Gang, allowing the entire lobby to be filled with the circus. The game was hard fought even though there was a lot of trolling going on, but everyone had a good time and Easy Clap walked away with a pretty secure 3-0.
I don't know if it really helped boost morale. I think it just got everybody a little hyped because, I mean, Trolley Gang and Easy Clap, it was both like, again, both teams were basically a part of the circus. So it was essentially just a circus pug, that game. So I think it boosted the confidence of the players on Easy Clap, because it was like, haha, we beat, you know, they're high ranked, but it's also, we beat our friends, like, you know, we're better than them kind of thing. So it gives you like that little bit of like just the confidence that if you can beat them, if you can beat your friends who you know are actually good at the game, then we can beat everybody. We don't really need to, there's nothing to worry about. It was like a weight was just kind of lifted. We didn't have to worry anymore.
We were all watching it, and then afterwards we were all super hyped about it because, like, you know, out of nowhere we beat also. I mean, Trolley Gang also had a really good team, but I think during the season they just stopped showing up for games, and then we poached a few of them. But dude, winning your first match, especially to come from Easy Clap heritage and win your first match, even, you know things are starting off well when you start winning. But yeah, that switched up pretty quick, didn't it?
The mentality was good after a solid win against their friends, but right away the players' willingness to show up started to wane. Not scrimming and perpetually having the mentality of we don't care until playoffs was already taking hold of the roster just 1 week into a 2-month-long season.
Yeah, that was pretty common, especially if you're looking at, you know, for example, Gag was just doing his own thing. M had collegiate. What was it? Buffalofo? I don't even think he showed up ever. Not that I remember. I don't even think he showed up a single time. And then Ultra was on the team. No way! This guy hasn't played Overwatch in years. There's no way that guy's on the team. That is fake. And then Vaccines was there every once in a while. I don't think Caesar Salad was there at all either. I think he was friends with like M and Vaccines and stuff. So I guess he just kind of disappeared. Creed, we did not need Creed. Creed was just, he existed. He was there. That's all we needed. Tectonic was there every once in a while. That was good. I don't think I showed up very good either. I just kind of like didn't care. I don't know. Overwatch is kind of not cool. It's all good. Pixel was there like all the time though. Pixel was killing it.
Their second match was against the rebuild of the previous season's champions, Red Veil, and to say it went poorly would be an understatement. You see, there were already a good number of starters for EasyClap with availability issues, and Red Veil, well, they actually cared, so yeah.
I mean, like, well, horribly, because it was all the backups, which the backups were basically other players that when we held the trials for, that we thought, oh, he like looks pretty good. He could be a good backup, because like our main roster was basically the circus friend group. And then we obviously couldn't pick up everybody from the circus, because otherwise the whole team would have been that. So like with Trolley Gang there as well, like the circus was gonna get split up anyway. So we knew we needed some other players, and so again we kind of went back to that old style easy clap where like find sometimes the literal diamond player who is gonna be, after maybe a couple scrims, is gonna be able to hang with the big boys in GM. That was kind of the mentality we did. But because we didn't scrim that often, we weren't able to build the talent and the synergy, and I think we just kind of got ahead of ourselves a little bit. So none of the players, we didn't really work that well together, and especially up against someone like Redville, who was like filled with talented players who had played together, who had a serious scrim schedule. I don't think we didn't go into the game thinking, oh yeah, we're gonna win. It was like, we know we're probably gonna lose, but we can put up a decent fight.
While winning their first game led to a minor boost in morale, losing immediately after made it a lot harder for the circus gang to care about showing up to much of anything. I'm not going to pretend like this bad attendance was hurting their already non-existent scrims, but it was very much becoming a serious problem when people wouldn't even show up to games.
That's why I think myself and Pixel Storm got signed up to be players after week 4, was it? Maybe it was a bit later. I can't either now. Not anymore. Maybe last year, yeah. But yeah, no, just me and Pixel Storm just were like, yeah, we need players, so we'll sign ourselves up and we'll just flex to whatever they really need us to play, which was usually support. So I brought out my old Lucio, I think once, and I had, I think, the shakiest internet I've ever experienced in my new living situation. It brought me back to when I was stealing my neighbor's Wi-Fi in League Zero to play those games.
There wasn't a terrible sense of morale, mostly because the majority of the team just didn't care to begin with, though there was some frustration from management and the few actually active players about not wanting to forfeit matches.
I don't know, because like I think there are some people that just still didn't care, but like as games started to go on, you could just see Baz get a little bit by little bit get more pissed off that he's losing to some of these people for some reason. Like I'm if I could, let me like go look at the roster, because there was definitely some games where we just played and like they lost and like that shouldn't have happened, and they knew that it shouldn't have happened, and like he was just getting mad. He was pissed. Let's see where, but like at the end of the day, like the whole goal, like he wasn't like super mad if that makes sense, but he wanted to do well because Baz is like one of the most competitive people probably in the Overwatch kind of like area that I personally know, because like he just doesn't want to lose. But he also did go into the season knowing he was going to draft a bunch of buddies and we're just going to have a chill time. But it's still in the back of his mind, I think he still wanted to win. And then I think Pixel kind of wanted to do well too, because he wants Easy Clap to do good. Same for Flip, wanted to get the redemption arc. So like I don't want to say it diminished morale, it kind of just stayed the same. But then as a lot more games were lost, I guess people started to get a lot more like fired up to maybe give a shit, I guess. I don't know, that sounds right.
Easy Clap's performance pretty much spiraled down in a positive feedback loop where they didn't take anything seriously, so they lost, which made it harder to commit the time and energy necessary to do well, which meant they took things less seriously still, and so on. It was getting to the point where even the diamond in the rough players they grabbed to ride the bench all season didn't even care about getting playtime. As you can imagine, ringers were a common occurrence by the midway point in their season.
Even though we won the first game and we won it like pretty decisively, I think it gave us too big of a head, so we had way too much confidence and nothing to back it up with, and then we just didn't. No one really after we lost the Redville game, playing with all subs basically. No one really cared to show up after that because it's like, well, we're just not that good. We can't beat them, right? So let's just not show up to anything except for like maybe the official matches. And I think part of that too was again the whatever OD stuff was happening at the time, so couldn't get full commitment besides full matches. And so and some of the players, you forget exactly who, but some of the players did like just straight up say like, yeah, I'll come for official matches, but like I'm not gonna, I don't really want to scrim. So that definitely that feedback loop was definitely there.
Once the mid-season signing window opened up, management moved quickly to pick themselves up, as well as a few more active players like Rectophobia, in the hopes of at least having 6 players to step in for games, even if they still weren't taking things very seriously.
Oh yeah, I definitely remember like that we didn't try that much, and it was kind of frustrating too, because like I always wanted to get another like championship, because the one before that, the season before that, a lot of people considered to be like graveyard season, like a lot of the good players weren't playing, so I kind of wanted to, win another season just to like prove that I'm still like up there. So like I was a little bit frustrated. I actually like even wanted to get traded from Easy Clap, so I like hit up Pixel Storm. I think he was the manager at the time, but like it fell through. So I was happy to stay with Easy Clap, because near the end of the season we did start to try a lot more.
The 4th match of the regular season was versus the as of yet winless Genetic, and Easy Clap was in a prime position to roll them over in their sleep. You see, Genetic picked up their own friend group despite most of them being barely eligible to play in the advanced division to begin with, meaning they were beyond outclassed 24/7. So Easy Clap thought it would be funny to run it down mid and hand them the win on a silver platter, as you do.
Pretty much, yeah. because Genetic was rated as the worst, so it would be funny to just see everybody, hyped up Easy Clap after week 1 after beating Trolley Gang. Oh, they're actually good. They're not screwing around this time. They have all these players, and then they lose to the worst rated team. I think at that time, like, we didn't care about the loss, because we were just having a blast. We were just having fun. Yeah, whatever. Throw the game. Who cares? And it wasn't like the kind of throwing where it's like, I don't want to play the game. I'm just gonna sit and spawn. It was like, no. It was just like, dude, like just silly things. So it definitely was a team building exercise, and it was just funny. It was funny for the whole league too.
While the previous week's match versus Genetic was rather confusing from a spectator's perspective, this one was on a whole different level. There was still tons of trolling, don't get me wrong, but at random times, either teams would just decide to try and pull out a map win here and there. This barn burner, if you really want to call it that, went down to the wire until both teams decided to actually try at the same time on map 5, leaving Goats Only to legitimately win a fair map and take the series.
Yeah, no, that was, oh my God, it was just really funny because we were like, it was a close game, like obviously it goes to map 5, but I remember everyone's like, okay, this map, stop joking around, let's win this game. And then I don't know where they conjured up this team spirit from, but they won. What else can you really say?
I don't know if I was playing that game, but I definitely remember them sandbagging a lot of the matches, but that one sounds like, yeah, that sounds right that they would do that.
I actually the only thing I remember from that match is like our trolling. I don't actually remember if we started trying like map 5 or whatever that was. But I knew we were like it was like one map on like Gibraltar or something. We were just trolling like crazy. It was like mutual trolling from both teams.
For the final game of the regular season, Easy Clap was once again facing what remained of their friends in Trolley Gang, whose roster had gone through some dramatic changes over the course of the season, though still contained at least a few players from the circus. They all took it about as seriously as you'd expect by this point, so much so that Chegg had the bright idea to play Balloon's tower defense while screen sharing through Discord while they were mid-game. I wish I was kidding.
Oh my God, I remember. That was my idea. That was mine. I'll claim that. Because they were just taking so long to get into the fucking game. I was so bored. My little ADHD brain couldn't handle it. So I opened up Balloons. I was like, guys, let's play some fucking Balloons. So I turn on my screen share. I start playing Balloons, and then Baz gets on. I think Flip gets on. We just start playing Balloons before we were in between maps or whatever. And I think as the game started, we continued to play, and then I think we got somebody to pause it on purpose so we could finish the round of Balloons and then go into the game. I don't even know if I played that one either, but I know for a fact that somebody, whoever it was that was in that lobby, had Balloons open while they were playing Overwatch, and they just had it on a separate screen.
The trolling and banter was relatively tame for the match, and Trolley Gang walked away with a quote, clean 3-0 sweep, though some problems would arise shortly after the match ended. You see, Sepp, a main support from the circus who'd been on Easy Clap all season long, got, shall we say, spicy in match chat. Some complaints and screenshots were brought forward to the staff team after the fact, and he dropped the N-bomb. Hard R and everything. Like, I'm gonna live with you. Despite what you might want to believe, staff don't actually want to ban anyone, but when you take it that far, we can't ignore it. So Easy Clap was now left without one of their only active support players just before the playoffs when they supposedly wanted to try. As if they didn't already have a hard enough time finding players to show up, this was the worst possible time to lose one that actually did.
I think it just unraveled as like just silly banter between just silly banter that shouldn't have been taken seriously, but then at some point somebody took it seriously and it just got worse from there. Sepp escalating it and then getting banned was just honestly one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. I'm pretty sure at the time Sepp was like the only support player there where there was actually a support main, so losing Sepp kind of just fucked the rest of the team. They just completely screwed us over. So nobody on the team took that well, and that led to more issues because then it's like the little scrims that we wanted to do, which was like maybe 4 tops, like one a week before playoffs, which timing doesn't work there, but we wanted to scrim maybe 4 times. We couldn't even do that now because we had no players to scrim with. They could show up for the officials, but we couldn't scrim because we didn't have a support player, and it was too late to get a new one.
I think Sepp just kind of did his own thing, because, like, I'm pretty sure what happened, if I remember right, then what happened was, I think they were bantering back and forth, but the problem was, this, Sepp is friends with whatever the person that they may have said certain words toward them. They know this person, so they were just bantering back and forth, but the person who was talking to Sepp didn't know it was Sepp, so they started actually getting upset, and especially when Sepp said something they shouldn't have said, they got really mad, so they took it to the mods. I think personally, if they knew it was Sepp, maybe that wouldn't have happened. But still, they can't be saying that. They can't be doing that. But I do remember that happening, and then I remember Sepp was already in hot water like multiple times, like before this anyway. So like I was just surprised we got that far. I think if we had Sepp in the finals, it would have just been clean. It would have been like way easier at least.
It's worth noting as well, there were technically mid-season tournaments after weeks 3 and 6, but honestly nothing of note happened in regards to Easy Clap. They even had to forfeit out entirely of the second one, just because they didn't have enough players to show up. With only a week break between the second mid-season tournament and the start of playoffs, things weren't looking too hot.
Dude, I don't know what happens to Easy Clap in the playoffs, but we just wake up. We stopped sandbagging, we took off the training weights. And man, it was some, because I was already living in England, so I had to like stay up while at university up into the night to like 3-4 a.m. to watch these games. I didn't watch that many, but I'd like go back the next day and watch the highlights and be like, holy shit, dude, we walked and rolled through this entire like division almost, just out of the blue, it seems, like considering the form we had for the regular season.
Because the only game they won throughout the entire season was their first match against Trolley Gang, Easy Clap found themselves in the 5th seed, meaning they would be starting the playoffs in the lower bracket. One loss would be enough to send them home immediately, while almost everyone else had 2 lives.
I think, we definitely locked in the okay, you guys have to show up for games, like, this is playoffs, like, there's no more after this, you guys have to show up. I think for scrims, we maybe got a couple not good ones, definitely not with full roster. I think maybe one of them was full roster, maybe like half the scrim, and then had to leave. But yeah, the mentality definitely, everybody just started taking it seriously at this point. Everybody kind of came to an understanding that, okay, this is it. This is the last one. It's do or die, and we're not going to die, so we're just going to do.
Despite some concerns about finding another support, Easy Clap had an easy enough time getting 6 people to show up. Despite not caring throughout the entire regular season, the players did make a real effort to be available when it mattered most. Though, to be completely fair, they did need to reschedule literally every single match they had in the playoffs, but it seemed to be working out for them well enough. Also worth noting, they managed to snipe Red X away from Trolley Gang just before the start of the playoffs, which was impressive considering he was the captain of their rival friend team, but all's well that ends well, I suppose. Gave them an extremely talented and flexible player to work with, and most importantly, another body on the field when they desperately needed 6.
I wouldn't say that it was anything to do with like Sepp specifically, I guess, in the finals, or not in the finals, but into leading up to the finals. I don't know. I'm trying to like think back on it. Like I remember we played against Goats only, I think, and that was a chill match. That was I liked that one. I don't even remember if I played or not. I think I played some of them, and then I swapped out for M whenever because we had to definitely balance it because him and Redx were either in top OD at the time or doing something for collegiate, either one, and we had to like make do with what we had. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if Gag was there either, but I bet you Gag probably subbed in on like every role we could probably get him on. Yeah, I mean, all those other games, I remember there was one where they were getting real rule booky. I remember that. Did not like that game. I couldn't even tell you which one it was, but that was annoying. But then we just beat them, so we didn't care. Goats was like, I don't want to say it was a hard match, but it was a good match, is what I'll say. It was good. It wasn't like necessarily difficult, but it was fun. There was good banter. You know, I think everybody had a good time in that match.
Their first official match of the playoffs was a rematch against Goats Only, both teams actually trying from the get-go this time around. More akin to their Week 1 game where the lobby was filled with friendly banter, but not enough trolling to fill a clown car.
I think it was just mostly warm up. I think Goats Only I might have missed that game. I don't know if I was present for that one, but I think everybody was just properly warmed up for it. I think we showed up with like a full roster. Like we had M, we had Redx at that point, we had Gag, we had Baz. All the pieces were in place and we had them on the board. So it worked out for the first time. That definitely boosted everybody's confidence because it confirmed what we were thinking, that yeah, if we actually just like get a proper roster and play together, we can actually just beat all these teams because we are just that much better than them. So that game, it just serves as a confirmation of our knowledge, which I think helped carry us through the rest of the playoffs.
Kingdom was an interesting opponent because while we really haven't mentioned them at all in the video thus far, they were pretty consistently the second best team behind Red Veil. They had some roster woes towards the very end of Season 5, which led to some of their better players to leave for Goats Only, but in theory they still should have been able to bring it to Easy Clap and claim their own spot in the Grand Finals. Especially considering they had faced Kingdom twice before and lost pretty dramatically both times. But, well, it's hard to stop a team like Easy Clap when they have momentum.
I was not worried about Kingdom at all. None of our players were worried about like beating Kingdom at all, because like I think most people are just looking at our regular season, or like maybe they didn't watch the matches because like they saw us to troll the first one, then just didn't bother, and like they just assumed we were just on a troll or we were like bad or something. But like I had like zero concerns. No offense to anyone on Kingdom, but like we had most of our players when we played Kingdom, so like I had zero like concern. We didn't really plan much. Like we scrimmed like. I wish we scrimmed a lot more, but we didn't like have the players. Like we struggled to get people to show up to the matches. So like getting people to show up to scrims is like a whole different issue. So I wish we scrimmed a bit more, but I wasn't worried at all when it came to Kingdom. We kind of just steamrolled them. I'm not gonna lie.
I think there was definitely worry. There was definitely a more like, okay, we have to play a little more seriously. Like they're well practiced. They have actual good players. It wasn't like Genetic, who was, I don't want to be disrespectful, but those players were not that good. So they had to take themselves a little bit more seriously. And so I think there was a little bit of worry, but I don't think no one was doubting our own capabilities. We knew that we could win. We just had to just play a little bit more seriously against them.
As mentioned before, Easy Clap had needed to reschedule every single one of their matches all the way throughout the lower bracket. This didn't prove to be too big of a problem as their opponents were always willing to be accommodating. However, Red Veil was a different story entirely. The clear favorites and defending champions for the Advanced Division were adamant about being only available to play during the default scheduled time, whereas Easy Clap were just the opposite. What made everything worse is that this was right around late September of 2022, meaning everyone was on a very tight schedule to get the match done before Overwatch 2 released and completely changed the balance and structure of the game. Needless to say, there was a lot of drama about attempted reschedules.
I do remember I was really annoyed at this actually, because I was trying like my hardest to get them to reschedule. We did a when to meet. We found like pretty much any time in the week, like any day of the week, any time between 6 to 8, 10 to 8, or 8 to 10, and 10 to 12 was going to work for us. The only block we couldn't do is the single time chunk it was selected for on Saturday, and they would refuse to reschedule completely. They said, we can't do any other time, which is kind of annoying considering there's like, 20 options of when we could play this match, and they insist on the one that it's already scheduled for, which I guess they technically have the right to do that, but it's like, come on, It did piss me off a little bit. I remember, and everybody was fucking jumping on me in like manager chat about it, because I was not holding back with my opinions. So yeah, I think considering that we got schedule diffed and we had a 30 or 4K Reinhardt player on Mercy, a 4-1 loss is a win.
My perspective was I was a little annoyed, obviously, that our team, who had not really, I think we scrimmed one time before the playoffs started, going into the finals where we had to play against a team that has scrimmed 3 times a week, pretty much every week, and then we can't even play Red X because I'm pretty sure Red X couldn't get to he didn't have a computer in his dorm room, and he played at his school's computers for his esports team or whatever, and he couldn't get to the school for some reason. I couldn't remember why that was, but he had to get to the school to play, but he couldn't do that at the time. And I guess M must have been there for grand finals because I know that I didn't want to. I think I might have even played the first map and subbed him in. That might be wrong, but at some point I did sub in at some point for me. It probably was not finals. No, it wasn't. I'm looking at it right now. Definitely was not. But yeah, it was fine, I guess. Oh yeah, because we had Baz, we had Lunacy. So Lunacy must have subbed for us, and then we had Pixel Storm on support. Redix showed up on map 2, I think. I'm trying to look at it. No, Redix was there. Maybe I am cooked. Yeah, we had Lunacy sub in for us. I think instead of Gag, which must have happened. Which I don't even. Yeah, that had to have been it. I don't know. It was fine. Pixel did like more than we could have asked for. I think on a role that he does not play, and I'm pretty sure was like Diamond. I think on support. I don't know if that's true. That might be slander. It's whatever. I mean, they did practice way more, so that they gotta win at that point.
Well, I mean, to me, that is one of the biggest shames of League Zero is that Gagbag was not able to play in that grand finals. We played with Pixel Storm on main tank or Mercy for those grand finals. And I mean, they were, close games, I think, but the scoreline wasn't that close. Again, I'm trying to rely off memory because I set up my whole TV display at 2 a.m. to watch that game and got a little drunk doing it, supporting my boys. But, it's just, we didn't obviously know that we were going to get to the finals. And Gagbag had I think EMT training, like already months before, I think before League Zero even, that he already knew he had to go do that day. It's just unfortunate that us, after rolling through the entire division almost again, were unable to go full strength against Redville. Yeah, I mean, what can you do? I mean, Pixel Storm's great tank player, but he's not a Mercy player, so there's only so much you can do with the Pixel Pocket. But I think we did a hell of a lot, even though that reschedule stuff was a little bit bullshit.
Being forced to cobble together a roster for the not rescheduled Grand Finals, Easy Clap was going into the franchise's first ever chance at a championship with the cards seriously down. Flipside was unfortunately unavailable due to him moving at the time, leaving Pixel Storm to come in as the emergency backup for support. Keep in mind, he is normally a main tank player with basically no serious experience off that role. So this was not looking very pretty. Somewhat thankfully, Baz was able to bring in a ringer for the role of off-tank, as Gagbag was unavailable for the entire match. Though I'm sure they very much would have liked to have their starter, as he is just on a different level from most other off-tanks in League Zero, if I'm being completely honest.
After the first map, I did play my role. I was playing main tank, and I wasn't doing very well. I got diffed. So Baz took over, and then I went to Mercy, and then we won that. So I think that gave us the confidence boost that we needed to be able to say, okay, we can do this. This can work. But part of me wants to think that it was luck that we won, because one, the rest of the scoreline, and two, me being on a severe off roll, it was not good for the team. It had to. That map was a one-off. It was lucky that we won that, and I think that just gave us false confidence moving forward. And I think that just cascaded, because then we lost the next map, and then it was like, okay, whatever, we'll get the next one, and then we didn't get the next one. By the last map, everybody had already kind of accepted it at that point.
Easy Clap experimented around a little bit with Pixel Storm on support versus main tank, but realistically Baz was just the better option for the main tank spot, leaving Pixel Storm stuck on main support duties. They would eventually find a little bit of success using an Orisa bunker composition, putting Pixel Storm on Mercy. They even managed to steal a map off Redvale, though this success was short-lived, as it felt like Pixel Storm just wasn't comfortable enough on any other support to swap when needed.
I mean, I definitely wouldn't say that I would feel comfortable on Mercy, but the base plan was just, okay, we can't do this, so just give M a pocket while he plays whatever character, Pharah, Ashe, and he can just solo carry the game, because he's that, and I mean, he is a very talented player. He definitely could do that. Because that plan worked on the second map, that kind of just solidified the strategy that, okay, this is what we're going to go with, because we don't have the time to think of something else. So let's just go with this, because it's easy. We know that it can work, and we'll just try it, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Now, there's been a lot of discussion after the fact about how successful EasyClap could have been if Gagbag was actually available for the game. While he is an utter beast on off-tank, he's honestly just as good at literally any role you can put him on. He even played a lot of DPS for EasyClap this season, and was key to a lot of the few successes they had as a team. It's debatable as to whether Gag alone could have made enough of a difference to get EasyClap a championship, but it's probably reasonable to say it would have been more competitive if a reschedule was actually in the cards.
Like 101% we win that game with a 1% margin of error. I'm telling you right now, you put Gag on any role in that game and he takes it over. That guy is a menace. He should not be allowed to be playing that game. He just shouldn't be allowed to be on on Diva, on like anything, because like that's why I usually tend to find myself on teams with Gag, because I mean he's obviously one of my friends, but like he's just the best. I don't know what to tell you. He's so good at every single role. I might be glazing like real hard here, but like he's good. What can I say? And like I do think if he was there, we would have had so much better chance. Like I don't want to guarantee it that we would win, because that's not fair to Red Veil, because they prepped a lot. But I don't know. I think I don't know. Because, like, no hate to Pixel Storm, but I feel like if we put Gag on support, I don't think our supports would have died as much, maybe, and we would have been able to kind of play our own little thing. Because, like, I don't think we were running the same. Yeah, Pixel was pocketing M on Pharah. That was our angle. Because we were, like, Pixel's not going to be, like, necessarily really good at, like, doing all the stuff that Mercy probably needs to do. So let's just have him latch on to M and just, like, let M do whatever he wants. That was our, I guess, our play. And then at some point we got Pixel on Brig. Yeah, we were running some ball on some maps for sure, because Mr. Basilisk do love his ball for real. And then Lunacy was comfortable on Diva, so we just rolled with that.
As you can imagine, Red Veil was much better prepared and never stopped trying throughout the entire season. If memory serves, they didn't scrim a ton, but these players were more active in other tournaments and teams like Open Division, so there's a lot to be said for their readiness for anything EasyClap might have thrown at them. EasyClap is of course supremely confident that their trump card Gagbag could have carried them to a victory, but Red Veil seems to have a more tempered reaction to the what if.
Well, for me at least, like the only reason I was even playing was because Glacial didn't really care. So if it did end up, from my perspective, if there did end up being an area in that grand finals where they started beating us and were starting to play better than us, then I would have just sat out and Glacial would have played. I suppose it's possible they could have won. I think it would have been really close, like 4-3, but I still think that Red Veil would have won, like 4-2 is what I would put. But I think a 4-3 victory for them or a 4-3 victory for us are both in the cards if both teams are at full strength. I don't think it would be a wipe either way.
Season 5 would conclude with EasyClap having their most successful playoffs run in the franchise's history. Though, to be fair, it was a bit of a graveyard season to kill time before Overwatch 2 dropped. But still, second place is second place. I'm going to be honest with you, I had a lot of trouble originally understanding what the theme of this video would be. Every one of the other charity SiRs has some kind of angle to work from, a specific plot thread that weaves through the ocean of information I gathered during my research. But for this team, it wasn't immediately clear. It wasn't until I took a step back and looked at Season 5 in its entirety that I started to see who this team really was. Were they a cautionary tale against sandbagging for an entire season only to try at the 11th hour? Or maybe an example that picking up only your friends instead of active players probably wouldn't work? Perhaps it's all just one big what if. While Season 5 EasyClap might be one of the most chaotic teams to ever compete in League Zero. That's it. That was the end of the sentence.